From Neural Newscast, this is Model Behavior, AI-focused news and analysis on the models shaping our world.
Welcome to Model Behavior, a Neural Newscast technical briefing. I am Nina Park. Our focus today is on the shifting alliances at the top of the AI industry and a massive new venture in reinforcement learning that challenges current training paradigms.
I am Thatcher Collins. Nina, today we are tracking a structural shift between Microsoft and OpenAI that marks a transition from a deep partnership to a more independent relationship. According to reports from the Associated Press, Microsoft is ending its exclusive reseller rights for OpenAI models. In exchange, Microsoft will stop paying a share of its revenue to OpenAI, significantly changing the financial landscape of their collaboration.
This is a consequential pivot, Thatcher. That exclusivity was a primary driver for Microsoft's Azure cloud growth over the last several years. The East Bay Times reports that the deal has been simplified to allow OpenAI to diversify its infrastructure. While Microsoft remains the preferred partner, OpenAI is now expanding to use compute resources from Oracle, Google, and Amazon. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy recently confirmed that OpenAI models will soon be integrated into their Bedrock platform.
It indicates a strategic move toward autonomy for both organizations. Market analysts, including Dan Ives, suggest this restructuring paves the way for a potential OpenAI initial public offering. By removing these original partnership constraints, OpenAI functions less like a Microsoft extension and more like a standalone enterprise. Simultaneously, Microsoft is building its own independence by integrating models from other developers, such as Anthropic, into its Copilot ecosystem.
Despite this distancing, some financial ties remain firmly in place. OpenAI will continue to pay Microsoft a share of its revenue through the year 2030. What is particularly interesting, Thatcher, is that this payment structure now persists regardless of whether OpenAI achieves the milestone of artificial general intelligence. Previously, these payments were slated to terminate upon reaching AGI. It suggests both companies are prioritizing long-term commercial stability over the speculative milestones defined in their early agreements.
Turning to new ventures in the field, we are following a massive development in London. David Silver, the former head of reinforcement learning at DeepMind, has launched a new startup called Ineffable Intelligence. The company has secured $1.1 billion in its initial funding round. TechCrunch reports the startup is already valued at $5.1 billion. Their objective is not just to produce another large language model, but to create what they describe as a superlearner.
The scale of this initial round is remarkable, Thatcher. Investors are referring to it as a coconut round because of its immense size. The core technical ambition here is to move beyond the limitations of current generative models. Instead of training on massive amounts of human-generated internet text, Ineffable Intelligence plans to utilize reinforcement learning. The system is designed to learn through its own internal trial and error and experience, essentially teaching itself from a blank slate.
This approach aligns with David Silver's previous successes, Nina. He was the architect of AlphaZero, the system that mastered complex games like Go and chess without any human input or strategy data. If this methodology can be successfully applied to general intelligence, it could bypass the growing shortage of high-quality human data. However, we should note that the Ineffable website presents very bold claims, even comparing this technical breakthrough to the fundamental laws of life described by Darwin.
Those are indeed high expectations, Thatcher, but the caliber of the backing is significant. Sequoia Capital and Lightspeed led this investment round, alongside NVIDIA, Google, and the United Kingdom's sovereign AI venture fund. This concentration of capital and talent, including many former DeepMind researchers joining Silver, further cements London as a primary global hub for high-intensity artificial intelligence research and development.
It is a crowded field for these high-capital labs, Nina. We are also seeing Yann LeCun's Amy Labs recently raise over $1 billion to explore similar non-transformer architectures. There is clearly a significant appetite for research that moves beyond the boundaries of standard large language models. The central question for the industry remains whether reinforcement learning can scale to handle real-world complexity as effectively as it did within the structured rules of a game board.
We will continue to follow the progress of these systems as they enter real-world testing. Thank you for listening to Model Behavior, a Neural Newscast editorial segment. mb.neuralnewscast.com. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Model Behavior on Neural Newscast, examining the systems behind the story